Hey there, fellow mortals. Spencer Bell here, your guide to the mysterious and often misunderstood world of vampires. Get ready for a thrilling ride as we separate fact from fiction. Are you ready to face the darkness and uncover the truth behind the legend? Then grab your garlic and your wooden stakes, because things are about to get spooky. For centuries, whispers of their existence have echoed through the ages. Tales of immortal beings with an unquenchable thirst for blood have sent shivers down our spines. Could there be a scientific basis for some of the seemingly supernatural abilities attributed to vampires? Get ready to have your mind blown as we separate the myths from the potential realities. We'll also be venturing into the modern world to explore how vampires have evolved in popular culture, from classic literature like Bram Stoker's Dracula to contemporary television shows and movies. Vampires continue to fascinate and frighten us. It's going to be a bloody good time. Our journey into the heart of vampire lore begins with a trip back in time. Picture this: ancient civilizations grappling with the mysteries of life and death. Early accounts of vampire-like creatures emerge from the mists of time, each culture adding its own unique flavor to the legend. In ancient Mesopotamia, for instance, we encounter the terrifying Enigma, a restless spirit that could rise from the grave to prey on the living. These ancient tales, passed down through generations, lay the foundation for the vampire myths we know today. From the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of ancient Greece, tales of bloodthirsty creatures lurking in the shadows emerged. Let's hop over to ancient Egypt, a land teeming with gods, monsters, and a healthy dose of blood magic. Here, amidst the pyramids and hieroglyphs, we encounter Sekhmet, a fierce lion-headed goddess associated with both healing and destruction. Across the Aegean Sea, in the land of myths and legends, the ancient Greeks told tales of the Lamia, a monstrous creature with the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a serpent. The Lamia, much like the vampire myths that would emerge centuries later, embodied the fear of the unknown, the terror that lurked in the shadows, ready to snatch the innocent and vulnerable. Hold on tight, because we're about to delve into the world of shape-shifting creatures. One recurring theme in vampire folklore is the ability of these beings to transform into animals, most often bats, wolves, or rats. These transformations added an extra layer of fear and mystery to the vampire legend, blurring the lines between the natural and supernatural, the human and the animal. By attributing these animal forms to vampires, our ancestors gave a tangible form to their deepest fears, transforming abstract anxieties into concrete monsters that could be identified and hopefully avoided or defeated. These animalistic traits further emphasize the monstrous nature of vampires, setting them apart from humanity and reinforcing their status as creatures to be feared and loathed. Fast forward to the Victorian era, a time of both scientific advancement and burgeoning superstition. Amidst the gaslight and fog-choked streets of London, a new kind of monster emerged from the shadows. Dracula, Stoker's novel, published in 1897, became an instant sensation, sending shockwaves through Victorian society and solidifying the vampire's place in popular culture. Dracula, with his Transylvanian castle, His aversion to sunlight and his hypnotic gaze became the archetype for the modern vampire, a template that countless writers, filmmakers, and artists would draw upon in the decades to come. Now, let's sink our teeth into what made Stoker's Dracula so darn scary. Dracula possessed a chilling array of powers, superhuman strength, shape-shifting abilities, control over animals like bats and wolves, and a hypnotic gaze that could bend mortals to his will. These powers, while fantastical, reflected the anxieties of the Victorian era. While Dracula might be the most famous resident of Transylvania, he's certainly not the only vampire on the block in European folklore. From the misty Scottish Highlands to the sun-drenched shores of Greece, tales of these creatures of the night have been passed down through generations, each adding their own regional flavor to the vampire myth. Whether it's the seductive enchantress, the vengeful spirit, or the monstrous predator, the vampire has served as a blank canvas onto which different cultures have projected their anxieties about death, disease, sexuality, and the unknown. Okay, folks, it's time to trade in our wooden stakes and garlic for something a little more scientific. Microscopes and lab coats. Anyone. We've explored the myths and legends surrounding vampires. But now it's time to separate the supernatural from the scientific. Could there be real-life medical conditions that explain some of the characteristics attributed to these creatures of the night? The answer, my friends, might surprise you. It's like a game of historical detective work, piecing together the clues to separate fact from fiction, the natural from the supernatural. One condition that's often cited as a possible explanation for vampire myths is porphyria, a group of rare genetic disorders that affect the production of heme, a component of hemoglobin. You know, that stuff in our red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout the body. Think about it. People with certain types of porphyria can experience extreme sensitivity to sunlight, leading to painful blisters and skin discoloration. Add in a dash of superstition and fear of the unknown, and it's not hard to see how someone suffering from porphyria might have been mistaken for a bloodthirsty creature of the night. Porphyria isn't the only medical explanation for vampire lore. Rabies, a viral infection, can cause aggression, agitation, and fear of water. Symptoms that might have been seen as signs of a vampiric curse. Imagine someone frothing at the mouth, exhibiting bizarre behavior. It's a recipe for fear and misunderstanding. Premature burial was also a real fear in the past. Without modern technology, people in comas were sometimes buried alive. Waking up in a coffin could lead to rumors of the undead. These tales often have roots in real human suffering. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're diving into the spooky world of vampires in Hollywood. From silent films to today's hits, vampires have captivated audiences for over a century. It all started with black and white classics, Bela Lugosi's Dracula, and Christopher Lee's Count and Hammer horror films set the standard. Hollywood kept evolving the vampire, reflecting changing social norms and cultural anxieties. From Interview with a Vampire to Blade, vampires became complex characters. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, love. Or should I say, love with a side of fangs. Because one of the most intriguing developments in vampire fiction has been the rise of the vampire romance. Suddenly, these creatures of the night weren't just bloodthirsty predators. They were brooding bad boys with hearts of gold, or at least a flicker of humanity, buried deep beneath centuries of bloodlust. Think about it. What's more alluring than a being who's both dangerous and desirable? Who can offer you eternal life and a love that transcends time? From the gothic romance of Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles to the teen angst of Stephen E. Meyer's Twilight Saga, vampire love stories have captured the hearts and imaginations of readers and viewers alike, tapping into our deepest fantasies about forbidden love, immortality, and the intoxicating power of the unknown. But this romanticized view of vampires hasn't been without its critics. Some argue that it sanitizes their monstrous nature, ignoring the inherent power, imbalance between a mortal and an immortal being. Others point out that it perpetuates harmful stereotypes about love and relationships, equating passion with possessiveness and romanticizing unhealthy dynamics. Love triangle with a vampire. Sounds messy to me. So, we've journeyed through centuries of myth and legend, explored real-life medical mysteries, and even taken a spin through Hollywood. But why are we still so fascinated by vampires? They capture our imaginations, inspiring countless books, movies, and TV shows. Vampires reflect our deepest fears and desires, our fascination with the unknown, and our eternal struggle with mortality. They embody the duality of human nature, the light and shadow within us all. Vampires challenge us to confront our own mortality and grapple with life's big questions. So, the next time you're captivated by a vampire story, ask yourself, what is it about this creature that speaks to me? You might be surprised by what you discover lurking beneath the surface. Well, folks, we've journeyed through the shadows, confronted our fears, and emerged with a newfound appreciation for the enduring legend of the vampire. From ancient whispers to the silver screen, the vampire has evolved, adapting to our changing fears and desires. Our fascination with these creatures of the night shows no signs of fading. The vampire's story continues to unfold in our books, on our screens, and in our imaginations. It's the deeper themes that keep us coming back for more. Because let's face it, folks, vampires aren't just about blood and fangs. They're about us. They're about our fascination with the forbidden, our yearning for immortality, and our eternal struggle with the darker impulses that lurk within us all. They represent the seductive allure of power, the intoxicating thrill of living on the edge, and the tantalizing possibility of escaping the limitations of our own mortality. Think about it. Who hasn't fantasized about living forever, about possessing superhuman strength, or the ability to command the night? Vampires give us a glimpse into that fantasy, a taste of what it might be like to transcend our human limitations. But they also serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us that with great power comes great responsibility, and often a hefty dose of inner turmoil. The vampire, for all its monstrous qualities, holds up a mirror to our own humanity, forcing us to confront the darkness and the light that coexist within us all. They remind us that the line between good and evil is often blurred, that even the most monstrous creatures can possess a flicker of humanity, and that even the most seemingly ordinary individuals might harbor hidden depths. As we close the curtain on our exploration of the vampire myth, let us embrace the darkness it represents, acknowledge the shadows within ourselves, and transform our fears into strengths until our paths cross again in the shadows. Embrace the mysteries of life, and if you see a bat tonight, give it a wink.